Jenkins, do you want me to do a review for you of this Grinch movie?
I kind of wanted to review this one, actually. I kind of liked the film, but alright, look, go for it.
Yeah, no problem. Hey, that's weird. The door to the movie room, it's closed. Normally it's open. Hey, Jenkins! Come on, man, seriously, how am I supposed to get in there? I can't open this door! What the hell? Jenkins! Jenkins! No, you reviewed this movie. I'm not touching this one.
How's it going, everybody, and welcome to my review of The Grudge. It's a sequel, it's a reboot, it's a remake, it's a reimagining, it's a whole bunch of things that we probably didn't really need. Now, this movie, since it's been out for a few weeks now in the US, look, it has gained an absolute bashing from critics. This movie, earlier tonight I looked, it had 19% on Rotten Tomatoes. It's been bumped up to 20%, so someone else out there liked it. So usually when a movie has universally bad reviews, I go into it thinking, yeah, look, I'm probably not going to like it. And I sat down with this thing, even though I am a massive, massive fan of Japanese or Asian horror, particularly the Grudge movies or Ju-On. I mean, aside from this rad Grudge t-shirt, like, I have a whole bunch of movies in the collection as well, mostly the Japanese stuff, but I also have the American remake trilogy. I love these movies. You know, even that, I was like, look, I'm probably not going to like this movie, and I sat down and I'm watching this flick, and I'm thinking to myself, why are people being so mean to this movie? Because while I didn't love it, I really didn't hate it at all. In fact, I had quite a good time watching it. Now, that being said, I do kind of get why a lot of people aren't liking this film, and to be honest, as soon as the end credits came up, a lot of the audience that I was sitting with actually audibly groaned, because I don't really know why, though. I don't know what they were expecting. For me personally, it ended perfectly. So like I said, this movie, it's a sequel and a remake and all this sort of stuff. It takes place in the US, and this time around we've had someone who was involved in the house from the original Japanese movies who has brought the curse over to America. The curse being that when a horrible murder is committed in a house, there will be a curse that will linger and it will infect people who walk through the doorway. So this woman brings the curse back to the US, and yeah, look, basically it's kind of a rehash of things that happened that we've seen before, but there are also some new twists involved. So the characters we've got, aside from the woman and her family who are kind of the original, you know, murder spree people, we've also got a real estate agent and his wife who are involved because obviously he sets foot in the house. We've also got another couple, an elderly couple who have moved into the house later on, and then we have a detective and we got her story. So there's 4 different groups of characters that take place over a period of a few years. And I know that is confusing some people out there, but here's the thing, and I think the reason why I liked this movie is because I love the originals so much, and I got what I was expecting with this film. It had the disjointed storytelling a la the first ones. But overall, I thought the atmosphere in general was actually pretty good. But I'm going to get into the positives later. I will delve into the negatives now because, yeah, there were things that I didn't like. And a lot of people are complaining that the movie feels derivative, it's boring, there's a lot of jump scares in it. It is derivative in as much as it does mimic a lot of stuff that the originals had done, and I think I didn't really understand why they did that. Like, someone brings the curse over from Japan, and they should have just had like a whole unique story, whereas it felt a little bit too much like the very original. And we have that in a lot of things, like you've seen in the trailer. There's the bit where John Cho is in the shower and he has the fingers coming through his hair, which we've seen before. There were a few things that we had already seen before, and it kind of made me think, well, why are you doing that? You know, is it just for familiarity? In terms of people saying the movie was boring, I gotta disagree. Yeah, it is a slow-paced movie, but all of the Grudge films were like that, so I don't really know why people expected this one to be any different. And yeah, maybe because I expected that, I wasn't put off by the pacing. But in terms of the jump scares, yeah, people are right there. This movie is riddled with cheap jump scares, like just things that kind of didn't really make sense. Some of them were okay, but yeah, there were a few times where I was kind of like, oh guys, you only did that just for the sake of having something to go blah on screen. And yeah, I mean, the theater that I was in, there was a lot of people who obviously don't watch a lot of horror movies. Like, there was a couple sitting next to me. The woman was right beside me. She was shitting herself through this movie. I'm not kidding. Even when something that wasn't really that scary happened, she was screaming and like hugging her boyfriend, husband, whatever. Yeah. So there were a few people in the theater who were getting a bit of a kick out of it, and you know, that's cool. So if you're one of these people that doesn't watch a lot of horror movies and you know, you like those kind of flicks, you might not find it too bad. But for me, true horror is in tension building, and there were quite a few scenes in this film that I will stand by that I actually was kind of clasping my hands pretty tightly. One scene in particular, I won't give any spoilers, but this is for people if you've seen the movie, where Detective Muldoon, who's played really well by Andrea Riseborough, she's investigating a scene, and there's a whole thing to do with a security camera and stuff, and I thought that scene was actually really effective up until they ended it with a shitty jump scare, but leading up to that, it was quite effective. And I thought there were a few other scenes in the film as well that I thought were done quite well. And in terms of the overall atmosphere, there were a lot of ways that they kind of did a good job with that. For starters, all the characters in this film are undergoing some sort of pain or suffering in their lives. It had this bleak atmosphere, which I love about Asian horror films. That's one of the things that I love so much about movies like Ring and Ju-on and The Eye. Like, all these films have kind of a misery to them, and this film did that. And they achieved it well through sound and cinematography as well. I thought this movie looked really good. The color palette was this sort of desaturated, earthy, warm color palette that I thought really was effective in terms of like painting a picture, like a sort of a somber kind of mood. And there were plenty of nods to fans of the original series, including the short films. There was a lot of uses of the number 4, which if you're familiar with the short films that have come out to do with the Grudge series, you'll know exactly why the number 4 is important. And I thought overall the acting was really good in this film. There were a lot of people that I wasn't familiar with in the film, but everyone did pretty good. But we had people like William Sadler, who I absolutely love, who was the Grim Reaper in Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey, and Colonel Stewart, the bad guy from Die Hard 2. And like I mentioned, there was John Cho in this film, but Lin Shaye, who horror fans will know exactly who Lin Shaye is. She was great in this film. She's great all the time in everything she does. But yeah, I thought everybody was really good in this film. And aside from that, the film only went for just over 90 minutes, so you know, it's not like it went too long. I thought the runtime was just fine. The music was good. I really liked the song they used in the end credits. It was, I don't know, it just sort of gave me kind of a 90s, early 2000s horror movie soundtrack vibe. Yeah, I really dug it. I actually, stuck around through the whole end credits. So look, overall, the movie, it wasn't great. I could see it again. I probably will end up owning it, not on day one, but maybe down the track, you know, if it's like $10 or something, I probably would add it to the collection. So while I can definitely see why a lot of people weren't liking this film, I think if you're a fan of the Grudge series, like the Japanese originals, even the American remakes, I think you're gonna have an okay time with this movie, and I'm gonna give the Grudge 2020 a 6.5 out of 10. So thank you very much for taking the time to watch my review of The Grudge, and this is ordinarily the point where I'd throw it over to you guys to let me know what you thought of it, but I know that pretty much everyone hated it. But that's fine. But yeah, look, by all means, if you actually did like this movie, let me know what you thought of it. Drop me some comments, either here, Facebook, or Twitter. All the social media links are in the description below, because I like to talk about movies, and I would love to talk about movies with you. Catch you next time.
Click subscribe to stay up to date with all the latest movie reviews. Skynet will be taking over any day now, so what have you got to lose? Nyah.